Hey everybody, welcome back
Hey,
to
Mike.
Aligning with Success. It's March 13th. Yay, yay, yay. Month number 3 of 2023. Yeah, 20, yeah.
031323.
Cool. All right. Well, it looks like a skinny crowd tonight. So be it. I did want to just start off with pointing out we had a great call last week, and I thought the feedback was really great on it. And if there was anything that you guys wanted to explore a little bit further, so tonight's session could be a little bit more of a Q&A. But before we do that, I do want to point out that I am working on some additions to the PowerPoint presentation that we're going to be using shortly, upcoming. I'll be sharing with everybody. Just want to share one of the slides that I have that Ben has helped me put together here. So here we go. So we got the use of the Nikken representation of their Happy Life Balanced Life, Happy Life weekly gathering. This one we're calling Happy Balanced Life, Happy Life Wellness Preview. Remember that term? It worked before, and it can work now, especially with some of this new graphics. So this will be the cover page of the presentation. And let me just go. How do we do this? Here we go. Okay. So page 2 is the representation of all that you can be. And page 3 is what we are as opposed to what we can be as a cause, as a concern. And then one of these 2 slides will be the next slide, which asks the question, is your life in balance? What are your 2 top priorities to improve balance? So this gets the person thinking. It's purpose or balance. I'm not sure which one of the 2 I'm going with yet. Because purpose is the why, but balance is the how. And then we go to the compound effect, which is how do we improve anything? How do we get anywhere? How do we arrive at where we are? It's all explained in this simple slide. It's a matter of choice and choices we've been making. And an example of the difference that can affect not only individuals, but nations. And we bring up this slide. This is the new slide. This tees up the possibility of Nikken in your life, Nikken as a business vehicle, the overarching theme of what it is that we're doing here in the most relevant of terms. A sobering comparison, how North America approaches health compared to Japan. It's great. Isn't this slide awesome? On the left-hand side, we have all the representations of North America. On the right-hand side, we have representations of Japan. So I'll just read them to you. Health index rating, Canada number 34, USA number 68 in the world. Contrast that with Japan, number 1 in the world. Longevity, USA number 40 in the world. Average life expectancy 76.5 years. Longevity, Japan number 1 in the world. Average life expectancy 84.3 years. And of course, they also have the highest number of people to live to 100. In fact, I might add that point. Cost of healthcare per capita, $12,914 in North America, $4,360, 1/3 of that in Japan. So they have the highest rating for health, and they spend 1/3 per capita what we do. Tells you everything. I think I actually have to change some of these around. Prevalence of obesity, USA, men 34%, women 27.5%. Prevalence of obesity, Japan, men 3.8%, women 3.2%, about essentially 10% of what it is in North America. What's the difference? Sick care versus self-care. Pretty good, huh? So it sets up a context for how we approach health, how the Japanese approach health, and then enter Nikken, a better way, the company that defines success in a new way. The idea of pursuit of balance in the 5 pillars of health. And then it goes into the details of how Nikken actually approaches that. Yeah. So this is what's coming, these slides. And I've also pulled into it, Start My Wellness Home, featuring the PyMag water. And then the links actually are in the customer consultant or partner options. Yes, My Wellness Home, consultant, click upgrade, and partner, build my wellness business. So the terminology is incorporated into the PowerPoint, so it doesn't seem there's not such a big disconnect when we introduce people to the concept. Then we transition to the business. How? With the vision of Nikken, 10 million people practicing active wellness through collaboration. And then we, same as we did in the first segment where we talk about stress in relation to health, and the cause obviously being sick care versus prevention. Here we go into stress. Number one cause of stress being finances, and the cause of that is the cash flow quadrants explanation. And then from there, we go into how Nikken is all about leverage and scalability by utilizing a system to build an asset part-time through our Nikken platform, show the platform. What does the platform allow us to do? Share Nikken active wellness to prosper and collaborate to build an organization, and how you can get involved and so forth. And that's how it wraps up. So that's the upcoming presentation. For those of you who are waiting, it's going to be together soon. And hopefully what we'll do is we'll get somebody to deliver that presentation with some pizzazz so that we'll have that on video as well that you can just share with somebody that'll walk them through. Elements of this and the other presentation, the business presentation that I'm going to put out as well, is going to be in a booklet. So the cards, here. These cards that were available as individual cards, they're going to be made available differently. They're going to be put into essentially a flip book that flips this way because that's the least expensive way to do it. And so you'll be able to hand these out or use them as your PowerPoint, as your one-on-one to deliver this kind of presentation, to deliver this kind of information with somebody over a coffee or whatever. So that's coming out. The tool supplier has just received notice from Nikken with respect to the catalogs in English and in French, and they're going to be made available again on the Life and Balance Tools website, which is not active yet, but it will be active in the next couple of weeks. So we're retooling, and that's an important element to building a Nikken business, is to retool and have content that you feel comfortable, that delivers the message, some type of a consistent message. In addition to that, I've updated, if I may share, a better way. This is the link on the Royal Alliance page. A better way, you can see it right over here. So it's the royalalliance.com/a-better-way. And so this page is basically, it's quick access to tools in one page. So rather than sending people a bunch of different tools, you can send them a note. Say, look, watch the first 2 videos. And then, if you have more time, you want to look at some more stuff, there's more stuff and more time. And then the time, it shows the times for each of these things, so they know how much time they're committing when they're watching something. But the idea here is to give them some nuggets of stuff about the idea, the products, and some of the documents. So these have been updated, hopefully. Let me see if I click this, it does update. I was just told it's updated. So here we go. Yeah, the Canada one is updated. And how do I go back? This little toolbar is in my way. There we go. Get rid of that. Go here. So that was the Canadian catalog. The US is right beside it. The Wellness Home Packs document, the new one, is also here, the updated one. So you've got that to be able to share. You're seeing that, right? Okay, good. And let's see. So the business plan that has not been updated, not sure what to update on that yet. The Better Way presentation has not been updated. It will be once it's finalized. Once we have the final presentation finalized. So that gives you an idea of stuff that's already available for you to be able to share Nikan. Oh, I forgot to show you. One of my favorite videos of this. Let's go back. There's actually the one at the bottom of the page. This one here. That was December 19. That was a really doozy of a presentation. It's long, but I mean, it really wraps Nikan up in a nice bow with testimonials and all. It was a Better Way presentation, but anyway. So like I said, here is one page that has resources on it in, your one-stop shop to get somebody up to speed on Nikan if they're really looking into it versus just piecemeal. It's all there. And you can just say, hey, watch the first couple. If you like what you see, carry on. That way they're not overwhelmed with, oh my God, I got to look at all of this. No, give them instructions. Watch the first couple. If you like what you see, carry on. So if you come across something that you think would replace what's there, not what would add to what's there, I'm not looking to build an encyclopedia. We're just looking for a squeeze page, one page that just has enough for the real interested person to explore and put our best foot forward, our best face forward. So I know there are some videos that have been produced on the Nikan Share app. If you think that there's something on YouTube that's, Mike, you gotta have this one, let me know. And it has to be as good as the first one, because in my opinion, the first one's the best one I've ever seen. It's old, and there's people on that video that are not in Nikan today, but does the new person know that? No. So it doesn't matter. So don't complain about that. Yeah, it's this one here. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's just, it's nice. It has all the stuff. I don't know if you can hear this. Can you hear this? You can't. Yeah, it's not optimized for, how do I optimize? Share. No, that's not it.
I think you have to reshare the internal audio.
Say that again. Hang on.
When you go to share, look for the audio near the bottom.
When you go to share, advanced sharing options, there's usually a button that says optimize.
There's a share button, a share sound at the very bottom.
Give me 1 second. I'm listening to two things at the same time, so let me get that to stop. There we go. Thank you for stopping. Go back to that. When I go to Zoom, what do I do?
When you go to share, there's a
share screen.
There's a little checkbox.
Yeah, there it is.
Bottom corner.
There it is. Yeah, share sound. So we go here, go here, go here. So now you should hear it. In 3, 2.
Yes. I know this one.
So it has bits and pieces of our, well, it's just a really nice video. It makes you feel good watching this. And there's so many testimonials on it. Visuals are great.
The 5 pillars, that sits very comfortably with our view of life.
You know, the idea is balance in 5 particular areas, big areas.
Les 5 piliers constituent un équilibre absolu pour tout humain. Et donc, il est nécessaire d'arriver à partager ça.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so if, like I said, if there's something you feel really passionate about that you think is a better option, just send me a message, because it doesn't take anything to switch a link. And that way we can keep something fresh and at our fingertips, because I think it's really, really important that in business building mode, you know exactly what you can count on, or what you can resource. And the simple truth is, the simpler you make it appear, the simpler it is for people to join. And the more likely they'll join because they see how simple it is. Yeah. So any questions? Oh, one more thing. So a number of leaders have been meeting on a regular basis now to formulate the beginning of a new field leadership organization. We don't have a name for it yet. I'm kind of partial to the Royal Alliance, but I'm not, it doesn't matter. I want there to be something that we can point to and feel like that is now a really strong representation of a field unity. And that represents the next wave, the next generation. So that is in process. We have our first committee meeting tomorrow, which is a small committee of people that were actually elected to be on that committee to help forge this new alliance of leaders to work together, to collaborate together, to create a functional field leadership organization that will streamline processes and so forth, create proper guidance and systems that are field-led, field-driven, including events. There may be events in the near future, so it'll be really good. Norma just asked, if we click on the catalog, can we order off that site? No. Life and Balance Tools is the site to order from, but since you've asked, let's see, what do we have here?
I think I saw the catalog in our back office today, Mike.
Yeah, it should be. I asked for it. So here's your catalogs, Canada, US. There's obviously French and Spanish in your back office. You can, depending on if you're logged in or if you're switched to the language of choice. Let's see, what else you said, can we order the catalogs? I don't think so. Resources here. Don't think we have that yet. Leadership development. Some of these links have to be updated clearly. I don't think we have this here. Yeah. This is some of the stuff we have, but it's old and not relevant. So yeah, this page has to be updated clearly, but there has to be a commitment to it in order to do that. So that's what we're working on. We're working on establishing a field leadership organization where such a page
Need to go outside?
would actually be of some use to you, and it will be updated. So all good stuff. Any comments, feedback based on the content that we've been going over the last couple of weeks, or the stuff we just talked about now? Elaine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I personally am partial to the word purpose instead of the word balance. To me, the word balance is something that is very Eastern, and I understand it better now than I did 20 years ago, 28 years ago before I started in Niken. But the word still doesn't mean as much to me. Purpose to me seems more North American. And, just if you were wanting my 2 bits, for that middle, I like the word purpose better.
Well, let's have a vote. Let me just show you, because there's 2 occasions where this slide shows up, and it can be used alternately. It doesn't have to be the same in both, because as I mentioned earlier, here, I'll show you. So there's purpose, there's balance. Wait, I'm not sharing. Give me a second. So many icons on my screen here to pick the right one. Okay, there you go. That's fun. All right, so let me go into PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay, so example, purpose, balance. So this is what we're talking about. Balance in the 5 pillars is the solution, but purpose is the motivation, is why we do what we do. It's to achieve, it's to seek and achieve. So they're interchangeable, but they have a different meaning clearly. So do we have any
Well,
Any
a
takers?
balance has a wider scope, I would think. It encompasses the 5 pillars.
Which
okay?
one?
Well, I think purpose does too, because purpose drives you to each of those. You know, to me, purpose is more internal. What's meaningful to me, and that drives me to all 5. It's just a word thing. The word purpose means more to me than balance does.
And to me, balance means more. And yet I love them both. I mean, and so when you say there's 2 different places,
Let me share the 2 places where
yes, because maybe that will help.
So the first time we see it is when we pose the question. Where are you? Zoom. There you are.
I think
The first-
purpose at the beginning, Mike,
The
is
first time we see it, yeah, go ahead.
purpose at the beginning. It's a reason to go forward. You have a purpose and you're looking to achieve balance. So balance could be the end anchor and purpose can be the entry point. In my
Yes. I'll go with that, Barbara.
Say that again.
purpose at the beginning is your entry point. You have a purpose to find balance. As you're going through the process, balance is the anchor at the end. It's the door that, well, it's not closing, but it is the end result. You've achieved balance by following the purpose.
It's interesting that your take on it is that you've achieved balance, because I don't think it's
Well,
something
you're
we-
on the road to achieving balance.
It's yeah, we seek
yeah.
it. We
That's
seek
right,
balance.
that's right.
So our purpose, I find the way I use this when I present is our purpose in life is to have a healthy body, a healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, healthy finances. To seek improvement in each of these areas is our purpose. And to do it in a way that's in balance. So that becomes our new definition of success. So the second time we see this is when we introduce Niken. And a new definition for success, the pursuit of balance in the 5 pillars of wellness.
I like that. Can we do that? Put purpose first and then balance this time?
Yeah, for sure.
And in
I'm
some
building.
of our other webinars, Mike, you've talked to us about when we're talking to somebody, when we have somebody that is a prospect, we can say to them, of these 5, which 2 are most out of balance? And that's where we start to try to help the people find a solution.
Well, this
to
is
the
this,
2 that
right?
they've chosen. Pardon?
So again, coming back to this question, because this is going to be the one of the cards. So I'm replacing this card. This card is going away.
Yeah.
And it's going to become this image, either purpose or balance. It's one of these 2. And it asks the question, is your life in balance? What are your 2 top priorities to improve balance? I could ask the question, does your life have purpose? But the answer is obviously yes. It's just, do they even know what it is?
Exactly.
So
Well,
we
if
can't
it's-
ask that question.
If
Go
it's going
ahead.
to be on the card, it probably ought to be balance, because that's what Niken is known for.
Yes.
And Nancy's agreeing.
Your
Yeah.
purpose is seeking balance.
May I say something? Am
Yes.
Okay.
way back when I used this, people would say, yes, I'm juggling all these things and I don't know how to reach them. In other words, it was the balance of them. You know, you're trying to spin all these plates to keep as even. So I'm saying balance. When I hear purpose, that takes too much thought. Like, well, I don't know what my purpose is, but I'm seeking balance. So I'm saying it needs to be, is this the first card?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just, people are just neat. It's obvious we want balance in those 5 pillars. I mean, but our purpose is a much deeper, more thoughtful, takes more time to come up with it. So I'm thinking balance is what needs to be here and maybe on the other one. My purpose is, I mean, it's kind of like, maybe I'm equating it to why a little bit too much, but it just seems a lot more thoughtful. And if you get into that whole conversation, they'll, never come down to the question you have. What are your 2 top priorities to improve balance?
And purpose takes more effort to achieve that balance.
Well, listen, I like what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. If
Yeah.
you feel, I mean, there was the question of purpose versus balance, but you're saying purpose is much more heady, much more, takes a little bit more, it's a little bit more thought-provoking. Like for me, purpose, what is one's purpose in life is to be happy, is to feel joy, to be, how you achieve that is through a life of balance. And so this is more the how than the why.
Mm,
But a lot of people can't articulate their purpose.
Mhm.
exactly.
So
I
let's
have-
not take them there, is what you're saying. Let's keep it simple. Listen,
Simple's
it
always
works.
best.
It does work. I mean, it had, the previous version of this PowerPoint had purpose in the middle, but that's because that's how I've presented it, but it doesn't have to be. It could just simply be the pursuit of balance and the 5 pillars of wellness. That's our purpose. That's our new definition for success.
And that makes sense because in the Humans Being More booklet, purpose is the last thing you cut to after having dealt with mission. And it's a word, joy,
Yeah.
serenity. Let Humans Being More do that. We want to get to the
Okay, cool.
balance.
Thanks for the input.
I was going to say, I was so intimidated. It took me 2 Humans Being More classes before I could even approach a purpose for me. I just found the whole thing so intimidating. But
That's interesting. Okay, good. That makes my job easier now because now I don't have to debate and I can just leave it as, what are we about? Balance in the 5 pillars. That's the story. Very good. Okay. Thanks for the input. This will be ready soon. You see, whenever you see 2 slides that look the same, but they're different words, it's because that's when I first put what I want to think about, and then I have to think about it. Anyways,
I was just going
okay.
to say, Mike, I'm really glad that we have 2 quick tools that are duplicatable, that we can just use to open a discussion, because that's what they're for, to open a discussion. So I'm glad that they're being kept up to date.
Thank you. Good. Yes.
And
Balance wins the day.
The idea of it being a little flip chart. And, I came into Nikon after the flip chart was gone, but I've heard people talk about it so much. But I like that all the cards are together.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And we're looking at cost and trying to bring this down, because what's happened is the print costs have gone out of off the charts. Like, it's just not worth. So when I looked at them, the costs, I started asking questions, and it was like, it would be nice to have this in a particular order so that you could tell a story. And it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be slide for slide for slide. It's just too expensive to do like a 50 card thing. It's going to be 12 pages But in those 12 pages, I'll pull just the root of the first PowerPoint presentation and the root of the second, which is the what conversation, the business conversation. So hopefully you'll have something that you could really give a proper explanation of the main theme of Nikan, the root points. And it won't duplicate what other things do, because it's no point in doing that. Yeah. Good. Paul, you have your hand up still?
Well, I had forgotten, but are we going to be able to order business cards again through the Life and Balance tools?
Yes. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I forget if I gave them that.
It's my website is the old one, and I need to have cards with the new one.
I believe the cards are included, and one of the things that I had was my business card has my information written on one side, but a QR code on the back side. So they can just take a picture and it goes straight to my website. But let me just check if I did, in fact, give them. Oh, that's going to be in an email. I'll check on that, because I think the whole list of them is there, and it doesn't take much to add that.
Will there be options for shipping, Mike, or will it just be one way?
I don't know. All I know is what it's taking for us to get this back online is a lot, because, like I said, costs went really, really high and the volume isn't high enough to justify it. So we're trying to scale everything down and pull everything back and make the resources much more efficient so that we can operate and have these tools. So yeah, I'm going to have to find my email to Dan and figure out what I sent him. So, any other questions?
I have one.
Thoughts? Yeah.
Me? This is not related to this. I have been trying to this evening to find the video. It was one of your girls, and they were talking about the wonderful water out of the waterfall helping with her skin.
Oh, Savannah.
Okay. I've gone back to 2021 and I haven't found it on Core Consultants. And I'm just, oh my gosh, because I met with a 24-year-old and she said she and her boyfriend are just fighting it. And she said they decided they really needed to start looking at their health.
Was it a shower unit, or was it the waterfall?
I think it was the shower unit. I think she was already drinking the waterfall, but the shower took her over into, wow, look what it did for my skin. And I just can't remember what year it was. It must be, maybe it's 2020. I don't know. I'll keep looking.
No, but do you know how to go into the back office of the chat?
Yeah, and click on link or media or whatever. I looked at links and I'm going through, but you know, there's
let me just look at something real quick. I'm going to show you it, and you tell me if this is in fact it. I'm in the wrong app. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second, because this will be useful for everybody to promote.
Yeah, thank you. It's just, I need to make this look easy to this 24-year-old. I'm going to save it to notes. When I find it, I'm saving it.
Okay. It's not a quick fix here. I thought I had it, but it's Pine Water. So if it's Savannah doing the thing that she did on social media, did I share that with the group as an example?
No, I think I thought she did it in 3 different languages. Maybe it wasn't the shower and her skin, but there was something one of the girls did in 3 different languages. But I haven't found any of it. It was all kind of.
No, they didn't have 3 languages unless it's YouTube. If it's on YouTube, and it's
don't-
translating.
Excuse me, I don't think it was Savannah doing the one in the 3 languages.
Oh,
Mhm.
Nancy, it might have been Gita Pimentel's daughter.
yeah.
Mm. Oh, there you go.
Oh, maybe so, but that's not really the one I'm wanting. It was one of the DiMuccio girls
Hmm.
talking about her skin and she had issues with it. I thought, maybe I'm wrong.
No, there is one that my daughter does, I think, with respect to the shower. Anyway, I'll have to look it up because to search for something like
I'll
that.
keep looking too, and I'll let you know if I find it. Thank you.
Okay. Did it happen to be in the contest when I was running a contest for testimonials and it was one of those? Or did I just post it as an example of social media?
I think you just posted it, Mike, because your contest didn't have anything specific on the shower
Yeah.
head.
But I'm also wondering, because I think Savannah also did a presentation for Niken on social media. She may have been in one of the quarterlies, or no, on the
Seiko Kai's.
Seiko Kai's, and she did a little piece on social media, and she may have shown something that she did on social media.
You could go back through the Seiko Kai's, Nancy, because they're posted in the back office.
Yeah, I ran across, it was either Master Day or Seiko Kai, and it was the 3 girls announcing it, and then Sophia talking about her silver run. And I thought, okay, I'm seeing some DiMuccios here. Let's see. And then it was time to get on this call, so I was even late getting on here. So I'm just throwing that out. I'll
Okay,
keep.
we'll look
Thanks.
for it.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
I presume we can share the A Better Way link on our websites and in our email campaigns and things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we can link to it?
Yes.
Okay.
I found something here. Wait a second. Oh, that one.
I don't quite know how to link to it, but that's okay. That's part of my learning curve.
I found a couple that my daughter did, but it wasn't the shower one. But I know it exists because I have it somewhere. But anyway, I'll look for it. Okay. Any other questions? Right. I just did a meeting with Leo's team, and we started compiling a list of. They're having, as you know, an event in Montreal, in Laval, on April 8th. And I don't know if the tickets are sold out yet or not. You can reach out to Leo. But it occurred to me that to really make a showcase event, especially when you have the CEO of a company coming, whether you have it that way or not, doesn't matter, but just to make a real event an event, then when people, and since we're all starting up on our events again, it would be good to have a checklist of the kind of things that you would include at an event as a host putting on an event. So in this checklist, I said, okay, so a guest arrives at the door. From that moment on, we want them to have an experience that makes this feel special. What would they have to see, hear, feel in order for them to feel that this event was special? So we had a list of things. Music, for instance, was the first thing on the list, upbeat music. Second thing was a door person to welcome them and maybe talk about seating or anything they need to know. An agenda to hand out, along with maybe other handouts. And one of the handouts that we came up with to talk about was this one from the UCube system, which is ancient, called the Wellness Checklist, which is something that you could hand to somebody. It's a card. It has their contact info on one side. And then most importantly is the series of questions that gets them to think what we want them thinking to create context for what they're going to experience as a presentation. One of the things most important is to get them to evaluate their 5 pillars of health. I don't know if you can see this, but what you have here is the 5 pillars wheel, and then they rate that. And it says here, if 100% life balance, if 100% represents your ideal, to what extent is your life developed in each of the 5 pillars of health? And so it's a scale. I think it's 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, and 100%. So now, knowing the presentation that I just showed you is the presentation that we're going to start doing, and the card is going to be the first, one of the first pages of the card deck, or the flip chart that you're going to have. The first thing we want them to do is reflect on where they are in their 5 pillars. So if you're delivering a PowerPoint and it has that slide on it, and then they have this card in their hand and they've been asked by the person at the door, here, take this before we get started, check off where you stand in this. And so that'll give us context. That'll give them context, and it creates a little bit of interface. Now, what I'm going to do in Montreal is I'm going to actually ask the audience, point out who are the guests, and I'm going to ask them, what did you write? Like, what are the 2 that need improvement? What are the 2 that, and I'm just going, what about you? Which 2 are yours? Which 2 are yours? Which 2 are yours? Which 2 are yours? As the slide is behind me, as I've asked the question of the audience at large, I'm going to then single them out. So this creates, I think, a really interesting dynamic when it comes to a live meeting. It creates an interface, what's the word I'm looking for? Engagement of the audience, and personal. So something to think about as part of the handout. Very inexpensive to produce. Another part of the handout I recommend is, what are you selling? I find it really strange that we go to these presentations and we don't give people instructions on what to buy. And so if you've been to a presentation that I've done in Toronto, there was always handouts. That was something that we never chimped on. We got proper handouts done. And one of the handouts, of course, is this one. I mean, you would have all gotten that. All the guests would have gotten the 5 pillars handout, among other things. But what they would have gotten was the PACS, that which is now 4-pager, the PACS information. So I would print it in color, double-sided, on a really high quality paper, so that it feels quality, it feels rich, doesn't feel cheap. And so, because we're not cheap. We're not asking people to buy something cheap. We want people to get a first-class experience. And as Marshall McLuhan, I guess is his name, he said, the medium is the message. So don't do cheap if you want to get people engaged. So then we went on to other things like a speaker timer, so you can stay on time if anybody's speaking. And if they have the agenda, they know what the time is. Things like balloons, pretty simple, right? Not very expensive, but it does add a little element of excitement. Backdrops, any kind of backdrops you can create. If anybody wants to do those pull-ups, the 5 pillars pull-ups, if you saw me, those stands that they stand about 6 feet tall, you pull them up and they have whatever you've printed on them. I have the 5 pillars, the ones that we had in Toronto. I have the actual files that you can send to the print shop who does those roll-ups, and they could put them on their roll-ups, and you can have your 5 pillars roll-ups to create a beautiful backdrop at your live events. So just let me know if that's something you want. I'll send you the file. Also, we want everybody to try the water. And we don't want hotel water, but we need hotel water to fill the PyMag water. So make sure the hotel provides pre-loaded buckets of water on a table, but have enough PyMag water units to be able to supply the audience. So in the case of Leo's group, it's going to be about 120 people. I suggested 4. And they line them one beside the other. So it creates a bit of a wow factor. They look really great. You see 4 in a row. And so that, again, creates a focal point of something that we're marketing, something that we're selling, and we want people to try. And I also suggested that they have them primed and ready to go before the meeting, and make sure whoever volunteered their waterfall that they change the filter cartridge so it's a fresh filter cartridge. What else? Any kind of stuff like t-shirts, you want to make the staff, the helpers, whatever, Niken t-shirts, whatever, that's a good thing. I got a bunch of t-shirts. I got them from Life and Balance tools. I believe they might still have the swag in the revised shopping cart. So start thinking about ordering 4 or 5 t-shirts for your crew.
There was a suggestion, Mike, about having a t-shirt with the powerhouse emblem on the shirt. You know, the P with the thunderbolt through it.
Right.
That's a powerful symbol that people will say, well, what's that all about?
Sure.
And it's an intro into the conversation about the powerhouse.
Sure. I mean, to get a local print shop to do a t-shirt or something like that, those you can go to a shopping mall and get that stuff done. You just give them the logo and they'll get it done. But it's things like that. It's these subtle things that actually have an effect on the mind, the subconscious mind. Another thing, get your consultants who are going to help you with this thing, bring their products that they can put on people during the presentation so they can get immediate results. And as far as backdrops, I forgot to mention as well, I'm putting together a slide presentation that's going to run automatically. So during the time that people are there and the breaks, I'm going to run a slideshow that runs and loops. And the images that are going to flash are all humans being more, everything Nikken related, different images, but they're going to keep coming up on the screen, come up on the screen, come up on the screen. So it creates an ambiance, not just a dead screen. You got your computer, you're using the screen, you got the projector, like use it. So in the preamble before and the after, when people are schmoozing and whatever, have that thing going on. And again, if you came to Toronto in the Toronto event, you had moving graphics that were constantly running because I wanted to take advantage of the imagery that those screens could provide in the background. So these are small things, but they all add up.
Here's something that lots of times at events people forget. When you have a survey or something for the guests to fill out.
Pens, extra pens.
Or pencils, just on a
pencils.
tray right beside them. Because then there's no excuse for them not to do it.
True. So that was another point. Yeah, bring extra pens. Let me just add that. Pens.
Or get some printed up with the name of the Quebec group on them. You know, if you've got some inexpensive ballpoint pens that you can have printed, that's something else that can be done as a promo.
Also, if you're doing an event, get help. Until recently, Leo was on his own, and that's a big event he's organizing. You can't do an event on your own. Hold together a team, create a committee, and delegate. So everybody handles. You handle the print shop, you handle the waterfalls, you handle the balloons and the backdrops, you handle the guests when they come in. You know, everybody takes a role, and that way it makes the event really show. And everybody who participates tends to put a lot into it because they want their part of it to be a real good part of it. And so they'll do things that you didn't even think about to make it that much better. So, you know, definitely when it comes to planning events, have your checklist, how to plan to an event and include these things, pull a committee together. There may be other things, obviously, you have to add to this, and then delegate. And I'll tell you something, you'll have fun doing events. The team of people that come together to help you and support you to do the event, those are the people who are the most loyal. They're going to be there all the time. They're going to have guests. So the more skin that they have in the game, the more likely that they're going to participate. Barb, you have your question or your hand up? Paul, you have your hand up?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just reading a book by Julie Andrews. It's called Home Work, and it's about all the choreography that had to go into making Mary Poppins. Now, myself, I love that movie. All the visual stuff is very important to people, but I loved it just as much. And I remember my first meeting ever where I met my sponsor. It was a product launch. And I remember what I was impressed by the most. It was these 2 videos creating Balance for a Lifetime and the new Nikken rollout video. The music, the voices, the way they said things, plus just the fact that there was a crowd of people there. Yes, they did the balance test. I knew about kinesiology, but it was the way the company was presented professionally on video that impressed me the most. So I just wanted to say that.
Now, speaking of which, I did not include this in the public version, but I do have a version of my PowerPoint where when I get to the slide that introduces Nikken and shows the 5 pillars, in that box, if I click, a video will play. And the video that I have is the Life in Balance video. And it's 2 minutes, but it creates context, it creates energy, it creates a feeling, which is what you want to do, is create a feeling. So if you like, I can incorporate that into the PowerPoint. You just have to be a little bit more PowerPoint knowledgeable, because you have to download the whole folder intact with the video embedded. You can't download the PowerPoint and then download the video, because they won't be connected. They have to be put into a folder, and then you take the whole folder and you play it in the folder so that those links aren't broken.
Keep it simple, Mike. Keep it simple. Because if you do that, you're going to have some people that they may be tech savvy in some ways and not in other ways.
Well, the PowerPoint will always work. It's just they may not play the video if you broke the link.
Yeah, but if they wanted to play the video and they can't do it, I just say keep it simple. That could be an option at another time, something different, but not on your A Better Way page. Keep that as simple.
No, it's not going to be on the Better Way page. I'm not talking about that page. Okay. I'm talking about the actual PowerPoint. So when I turned it off. So when you get to the slide that says Nikken, founded in 1975, whatever, and it shows the balance wheel, if you click on it again, the video comes up. And then you click on it and you go.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, videos, company videos are really important.
I just think it adds an element of professionalism and wow. Like I said, this is about a show. And when people come to an event, if they walk away thinking, oh, that was garbage, what a waste of time. There was no fun, there was no laughter, there was no element of anything that seemed on par with today's world, then it leaves an impression. We want the impression to be something that is, man, that was great. I would love to bring somebody back to this.
I think it sounds great, and I'm not very tech savvy, but I think I can do that.
Yeah, if you just download the folder, so that means I have to put the folder in a place that you guys can download a large file. So that would be on my Dropbox, which anyway, it's not a problem because this is a huge file, the PowerPoint as it is. So yeah. And the reason why I haven't shared PowerPoint with you in the past, I've only shared PDFs of the presentation. There's a reason. When I share PowerPoint of original content, it's copywritten content, time, painstaking went into it. And some Yahoo comes along with their own PowerPoint and says, oh, I'll just take this slide from here and that slide from there and whatever. And then you've completely destroyed the integrity of that presentation, but you've taken copywritten materials. So the reason why I've not shared PowerPoints is because they can be taken apart. I've only shared PDFs. So I'm maybe willing to break with that tradition because I think we need everybody up to speed and everybody on the same page, rolling this thing out.
I find PDFs easier to deal with on a screen.
Well, they are. They're smaller files. They're easier to deal with. That's for sure. And by the way, you can embed video there. I just haven't learned how to do it. Leo. Monsieur Leo.
Monsieur Leo. Bonjour tout le monde. I just have a comment for today. I have a telephone call with a new people. I never have met her. She just I want information about the knee wrap for my knee. I said, fine. Do you have any email? I said, of course. I send her to my famous email, and I invite her to my testimonial tonight. I said, of course, I'm going to be there. I don't know who is she. And she see my email, video, etc. She come to the meeting. And after the meeting tonight, I call her back. I said, wow, I love it. I don't want just a knee. I want a bottle. I want a back flex. Easy job. Just send my email, invite to my testimonial, and she update the order. That's it.
Thanks for that, Leo. Thanks for reminding me. So one of the things in Leo's schedule, by the way, Leo, I haven't seen the update of the schedule. Can you get Angelica to send me the update or to share it on the Quebec group, with the new event? So his weekly schedule includes a Monday evening at 8 p.m. How long is the call? 30 minutes? Yeah, it's a short call. It's less than 30 minutes. Yeah. And it's just testimonials.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity to showcase testimonials. It's live and on the fly. You guys are all, what can I say? What can I say? Who knows? Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a live show and you do your best to, moderate. And if somebody says something that's offside, you just say, like I was asked the day on WhatsApp. So this will treat the pain in my back or whatever it was, the pain it was and I said, no, it doesn't do anything for pain. It puts the body in a state where the body then can deal with whatever you've got going on. And it's very often we experience people tell us that they feel relief. So it's the way you word it. You don't acknowledge that it's for pain relief. You acknowledge that it puts the body in a more balanced state. And often people report that once the body's in that balanced state, they get all kinds of relief. So it's how you word it. Okay, it's 9:59. We don't have to go longer. But if you, the point I was bringing up on Leo's call is a testimonial call. I'll tell you something. Our business, my daughter reminded me the other day, facts tell, stories sell. I wonder who she heard that from. Facts tell, stories sell. And so stories. When we expose people to stories, and again, one of the things that I think will maybe come out of this new field leadership group is some cohesive schedule where there will be either additions or modifications to the schedule where we will have some very poignant, this meeting, your sort of tic-tac-toe meetings to move somebody along the process. And for sure, one of them has to incorporate live stories. Nancy.
Just two things. You were talking about the quality paper for handouts. Since the beginning of Niken, I have used 24 weight. I found it at Sam's and it comes in a big thing. It was $6 some odd for about 500 sheets. And that is what I use. And people go, wow, this really feels good. But I wanted it to feel good, exactly what you were talking about. And the other thing is, I was at the Humans Being More in Georgia, and Pam Barnes walked in with the neatest Nautica navy, kind of slick. Maybe it was kind of like a waterproof jacket, but very nice quality. And she had some stitching done here and something on the back. I was going to take a picture of it. Really good words that as you walk by and people see that on the back. It wasn't cutesy, it wasn't anything, but boy, I really did like it. But I can't tell you what the words are right now, but I thought that would be a great t-shirt is what I was thinking of.
Okay, well, got to get those words.
Got to get that information.
Yeah. And all these things, all these little things only matter if you use them, but they all add up. Like I said, little things become big things. All right, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Very cool.